exciting part of the program. Not really. All right, hang on. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I should not have. Well, that one fits. You got that one cropped. That one looks fine. Let me wear my professional looking glasses.
You know what? I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put the pay give thing into Zoom and see if I can grab it from Zoom.
Would someone mind seeing if we are on
Stand
YouTube?
by. I'll do that. Not yet.
Really? Huh?
Well, it's only 4:57.
No, as soon as I hit the button, it should have been there.
Oh, okay.
I hear music.
Yeah, this is the music on Hot 101. I'm using the app.
Well, I haven't hit that yet.
Oh, okay.
YouTube is what I was worried about.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, you
YouTube.
you didn't specify YouTube. Yeah.
Did I say? I think I said something along the lines of, "Can someone see if we're live on YouTube?"
No, I said. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I see that now. Sorry, I didn't get the YouTube. I got 0.0.
0.0.
I'm 0. Carry the 0. Okay. Multi-streaming with restream. There you are. You're live on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hang on. We are now into.
Hanging in there by a noose. Yep.
Yes, exactly. What's the sarcastic name for that? There was a name. You probably shouldn't even be asking since we're live. There was a name for that about something tie. But I'll figure. That's like a terribly historically, like horrid sort of name. Something I should not be ruminating about live on the air as we're about to make a big introduction. All right, we've got about 3 minutes, folks.
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes.
So things are actually looking up for the Kennedy effect there, Bob, because we've had a death threat and now we have an advertiser. So there you go.
You know what? We're filling.
We're checking the boxes here, Bob. We're checking boxes. All right? We're checking boxes is what we're doing here.
You know you've made it when somebody wants to bang you over the head with something.
I said to George, what does that say about the problem or about the program? That we got the death threat first.
Yeah. In the
what does that say?
It says that people are listening to us.
It says that the advertising community are like, well, he got a death threat. Somebody must be listening. Oh my god!
You turned into the man.
You sold out, man.
Sold out, man.
When we met back in the hate, we said we'd never become part of the establishment. Oh my goodness. Wait, how many more can I do here? Not one.
Okie dokie. Oh, I don't have any I don't have any graphics for Hot 101. Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh,
We're using Restream.
All right.
Okay.
Our brains have not all been in conjunction. All right, 5:01. So we're going now in 3, 2, 2.5. Damn it. All right, here we go.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
And young enough to do.
well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who brings a job a fresh new point of view? Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
And it's Kennedy, 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 for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome from our humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, Western Hemisphere, North American continent on this planet Earth. The only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is the Kennedy Effect Live for June 11th, 2023. In fact, I think it might be the first time in a real heck of a long time that we have been with you for 2 weeks straight, either through personal circumstances or holidays or whatever, or technical difficulties or whatever it might be. I think it's the first time we've been with you 2 weeks straight in quite a long time, but we are very, very happy to be here. Let's get straight to the business end of the program, shall we? Wherever you might be across the Facebook universe, and let me see if I can very quickly determine how many places we have shared to today. I would like to say it is in the hundreds. I think we're in triple digits. Yep, 102 and 106. If you are anywhere in the 106 places that we have shared the program today across the Facebook or Meta universe, let me say thank you. We simply could not do it without you. We could not be here if you are not there. Wherever you might be listening, watching right now, in whatever group, personal timeline, page, wherever you might be, please feel free to stay right there and continue to watch and enjoy the program. Or, as always, look right on your screen. You are welcome to join us over at our home group Facebook page. That other side of information, our home group Facebook page. We are also live on YouTube, our YouTube channel, which is also called That Other Side of Information. And always remember, even though we are now broadcasting live to YouTube, if you should ever miss any part of our program, you can always go back to YouTube and watch it there and take it in in smaller portions, shall we say. Not everybody can sit and watch straight through for 4 hours, but you can take it in right there. I had a gentleman, and he's a good guy. He's been a member of our group from very, very close to the beginning. He's kind of a hard dude, but he's a good guy. We've had plenty of conversations and exchanges online. He's a good guy. And he commented on our show last week, rather sarcastically, gosh, only 4 hours. And I'm like, yes, sir. Well, Tom Hartman does 3, Stephanie Miller does 3. I think Michelangelo Signorelli does 4. It's not unusual. And by the way, and that's why I bring this up, because it reminds me of the YouTube channel. If you can't be with us live for 4 straight hours, and not a lot of people can, let's just be blunt, the industry will tell you that your audience turns over every 7 seconds. I don't think that's true by any means. I know that a lot of you listen to the program for good stretches. You might not take in all 7 or all 4 hours at one time, but you're watching in long bits, and I appreciate that a great deal. But that said, if you ever miss any of this live, you can always go to our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. And again, That Other Side of Information on Facebook as well. I remember to do a TikTok promotion this week. Isn't that nice? I think I did it some ungodly hour last night. And I will admit I looked like a rather haggard human being when I did it last night as well. A very tired human being last night. And in fact, I was so appalled with my own appearance that I woke up, I shaved, I cut my hair this morning. I'm like, you got to clean that mess up. So if you ever want to see me in a raw form, TikTok is an excellent place to do it. But please remember, it's a little hard to read. I know it's small, but all of our social media is right here. Twitter, email, I guess email, social media in a way. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, it's all right there. And we will continue always, even though it's a very, lame and cliche thing to do, we will always ask you, please feel free to give us a like, a subscribe, whatever it might be at that particular place. It just helps us promote the program. It helps more people see it. And all we ever ask is that people get a chance to see it and give it a try. If you don't like it, then don't watch. But most people who will give us a try, even people who don't like me or don't necessarily agree with my politics, will stick around. But we have to expose them to it first. It's a bit of a business, unfortunately, and at times, unfortunately, and it just is what it is. So wherever you are on Facebook, feel free to stay where you are. If you've been kind enough to share the program onto your corner of the world, we are very, very grateful. But you can come to our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information. And of course, we are live right now on YouTube at That Other Side of Information as well. Our YouTube channel, our library for all of our past and recorded programs. Hot101.net to my sisters and brothers and friends and family at hot101.net, literally around the globe. Thank you so very, very much for allowing us to be part of your Sunday or Monday, really, depending on where you are and the spinning blue orb of ours. If you are in the New Zealand and Australia areas, it's already Monday. In fact, I think you're probably already at work. And thanks for tuning in. And if you have not listened to hot101.net, then you haven't been listening to me, because you should be. It is an excellent place, 24/7, extremely talented, artistic people and artistic DJs, super, super talented people. You need to be part of the hot101.net family, and we always encourage you and invite you to do exactly that. Tune us in and be part of our family. If you don't know how to listen to hot101.net, you also have not been listening to me, because I tell you multiple times an hour every week. Our name is our web address. It is hot101.net. If you have a device that can connect to the internet anywhere on this planet or above it, you can listen to us. Hot101.net, desktops, laptops, tablets, phones, Bluetooth it to headphones, earbuds, speakers, Bluetooth it in the car. And if you don't want to use the main website, you can use any of our variety of apps, depending on the type of phone that you have. If you have an Apple device, go to the Apple App Store. If you have a Android device, go to the Google Play Store, and anything else you can use the TuneIn radio app. Go up to the search bar and type in hot101.net, and you are good to go. And one of the really cool things about the hot101.net apps is you don't have to do a darn thing to use them. Download it, tap it, it opens, and it plays, period. You don't have to choose anything. You don't have to log in. You don't have to give your social security number. You don't have to do any of that, blood type, any of that stuff. You tap it, it opens, you listen, piece of cake. And we take care of the rest at hot101.net. And of course, the TCP Media Group is back with us again this week, and we appreciate them very, very deeply. And thank you for allowing us to be part of the TCP Media Group. Well, so what are we doing this week? If you caught any of the show announcements that I have distributed throughout Facebook, the ones that Facebook just loves, and that's probably why they put me in jail so much. You know that we had, or that I previewed, I guess you'd say, sort of, a big announcement for the program. And we do indeed, in fact, have a big announcement about the program. Before I get into it, some of you out there are going to go, wow, this was your big announcement? Well, let me just head that off before we even get to it. It might sound to you like not a big deal. Kind of like a ho-hum, so what? Oh, I thought you were going to announce that, President Biden was coming on the program or something like that. Well, guess what? He's welcome, as is any elected official. So no, it's not that. But for us, for what we do, and for how we do it, it's an enormous, enormous event. It could very well be, and I hope deep in my heart, and I have a good feeling in my gut, that it will be a game-changing thing for this program, and for folks like me, who just try to do something simple, truthful, historically researched, factual, no name-calling, no bashing, no making fun of others, no marginalizing anyone. We just try to do something pure, organic. Except for the millions of dollars that George has netted off the program, we don't make money here. It's been very homegrown. We always talk during campaign season, everyone likes to talk about their grassroots campaign. Well, nothing could be more grassroots than this program, because we have spent infinitely more money on it than we've ever brought in. But that just might be changing. And here to talk about it is a veteran, if you will, of the program. And that, of course, is Bob Kosh, coming to us live from the Jersey Shore, because don't we all wish we were? I mean, let's be honest. We all wish we were at the Jersey Shore, don't we? I'm trying to fix this thing, and I'm not sure why I'm trying to do this right now. So Bob comes to us from the Jersey Shore to tell us about a really, really exciting change and a really, really exciting announcement, and a, dare I say, light, just an enormous thing. Let's just be blunt, an enormous step forward for our program. So, Bob, welcome back to the program.
Jeff, it's always good to be on your show, and I'm really, really happy that we're launching this new the Kennedy Effect, because it is, you pretty well set the stage about what is going on and what's going to happen as far as a grassroots movement. I have the good fortune to be working with a company. They're called PayGive. The website is paygive.org. What they do is really groundbreaking. Let's talk first about who can really benefit from this. We're talking about inclusion on all levels. There are a number of people out there who just you know have charitable um, just a charitable mindset. They're empathetic, and what pay give allows people to do who may have some budgetary constraints. There's a lot of folks who really enjoy um, giving to charities. What pay give does allows everyone to do that, and let me get into the nuts and bolts of that. What they have started to do is they put together an app where you you can make purchases at vendors and stores like Dunkin' Donuts, Home Depot. There's over 450 merchants on their website, and what what this really opens up for everyone is the chance to be included. And what I mean by that is if you drink Dunkin' coffee every day, maybe you go there 30 days out of the month and you're spending X amount of dollars. The app purchase the Dunkin' gift card, and of your purchase, I believe Dunkin' is 2% cash back. And what Pay Give does, it allows the consumer part of that cashback reward to their favorite charity, Cross, Catholic Charities, UNICEF, you name it. It it's not an out of pocket expense. It's not something they're you're budgeted to do. So there are over 450 vendors, restaurants, Home Depot, Lowe's. These are stores that most of us use. What is really truly exciting, and this is why I wanted to break it on, is that there is going to be a component within that is going to allow a consumer, a purchaser, donate that money to a campaign platform. Now, independent, you now have the ability to there's so many people that, dear God, with the past 7 years, what the United States has experienced, extraordinary. There's all kinds of rumors about individuals who are controlling certain parties, things of that nature. I believe, and we believe, uh, with pay give, this is going to the average Joe or Jane the opportunity to be involved, because you saw it with Bernie Sanders, where money, a couple dollars at a time. And the beautiful part about this, the folks that are making purchases weekly, monthly, portion of that can go to their candidate or their party to achieve the goal that they want. I think this is just an amazing thing to be involved with, and offered just to Democrats, not offered just solely. This is going to, I hope, there's a there's really a back, and that backstory is this will allow to be transparent, see where the money's coming from, because there's, heard this group is supporting X, candidate X and others from them. So what this is going to allow folks to is create a little bit of a healing process, because I think we all knew that 2020 was important, but look at rumors flew. There's all kinds of things still clouding the political, and this really will, I think, real transparency to see, depending on who wins. Okay, they raise, well, here it is. You bought coffee every day. You bought this is where this money came from. And I just believe it would be something that really makes a difference for the average United / voter.
So simply, we had a chance to talk about this before, of course, that there are a lot of us from all ends of the political spectrum, and those of us who are completely non-political at all, who wish that we could donate to either charities or causes or organizations or candidates that we think are important. And yet we do not, because we cannot. Because there is a mentality that, and I'm not saying it's a wrong mentality, but there is a bit of a mentality that, well, if I can't give X number of dollars, it doesn't matter, or it doesn't help. If I can't write a $100 check or a $500 check or even a $25 check, then $5 really doesn't mean much. So what PayGive is going to allow you to do is make those donations in increments that you can afford, because it's going to be X% of what you're doing anyway. You're already paying for the home renovation supplies or cleaning supplies or Christmas decorations, for that matter, that you might get at Home Depot. You're already paying for those. If you use PayGive, you have a chance to tell PayGive where to direct your percentage, whether it's this candidate, that candidate, that candidate, or this particular charity, that children's charity, that animal charity, wherever you decide. And as you continue to make purchases, those donations begin to add up. And as more and more people use the app, those donations will then, of course, add up. If 10,000 people decide they want to give to the ASPCA, then it might only be 25 cents a person, but after that many people do it, it begins to add up a great deal. As you are aware, folks, because I have talked about it ad infinitum. I just dropped Latin on you. Just see that? This is why you tune in. Our own force behind this program, the only reason that I am on the air, April Riddick is running for office. It has hurt me deeply, and she understands, and she's never asked me for anything. But it hurts Kristen and I that we really can't afford to give her or donate to her the kind of money that she not only needs, but that she deserves. Well, now we can. If we decide to use this app, and I suspect that we will, not just because they're going to be advertising on this program, but because I happen to believe in what it's doing. And you can, then we will use PayGive to pay at certain places that we know that it's accepted. And we will designate that money either to go to April, and perhaps after the elections are over, we might change it to go to, as Bob mentioned, Catholic charities or Catholic children's charities, or again, some type of animal welfare type charity or something like that. And even though, let me be very clear too, that even though I am an absolute unapologetic flaming liberal progressive Kennedy Democrat, if you have a Republican candidate that you believe in, my dear, dear friend Bob Smith is a diehard Republican. He has run for office a lot. And he's a good man. We don't agree on much, but he is truly a good and decent human being. If you believe in him, then you use the PayGive app and let Bob Smith be the recipient of your donations, or any Republican candidate across the country, or a Green candidate, or a DSA candidate, or a Working Families Party candidate, or whatever it might be. Certainly the smaller, shall we say, parties that don't get the recognition and don't have the automatic ballot access that the two major parties have rigged for themselves over the years. And by the way, an access that the founders and framers never intended. But again, it's been done. So if you have a Green candidate that you feel very strongly about, you can direct your PayGive donations to them. You can direct them to, again, a DSA candidate, a Working Families Party. In New York State, they don't just have the Republican Party; they have a conservative party. You can do it there as well. Or again, if you are completely non-political, apolitical, then pick an animal welfare charity. I will be talking about. I'm going to take some time. Right of presenter's privilege, by the way, a bit later in the program to talk about something that happened to our family this week as it comes to animal welfare and equality, to be honest with you. But we'll talk about that a bit later in the program. So, and of all the places, I have to say I'm very, very humbled by it. I'm humbled on this program a lot when I see that thousands of people have commented or watched or viewed, even if only parts of it, or that every time I log on to do a new TikTok promotion, or that I send it over to Instagram or whatever, and I notice there's 1 or 2 or 3, some weeks 5 and 10 new people have decided to follow what we do here. I'm very humbled by it because I'm not special. I'm not smarter than anybody. God knows I'm not better looking than anybody, especially not Bob Kosh. But I but we are doing something here, and the fact that the folks behind this app would decide to come to a humble, small, well, let's just be honest, relatively small program like ours, even though we are blessed to have a global reach, means an awful lot to me. It's going to be a game changer for the program. It's whatever income that comes from this for us will mean reinvestment. It will mean that I can finally pay George what he deserves. 0 is what he deserves. I'm just saying. But I can offer George something that he deserves, even if it's just gas money to come here and do the show with me from the station that we built for him that he's never been able to use between pandemic and car problems and things like that. Or upgrade that computer that we need to, or buy that microphone stand that I needed, or something like that. So it's a big deal. It really, really is a big deal for a relatively small program like ours to be recognized by a company like this who's simply trying to do the right thing. And I'm going to take another point of honesty here. PayGive's there to make money. It's a business. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a business. They want to make money. Of course they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you can make money and help how many other people along the way, it seems to me that that's a much more humane, arguably even faith-based, a much more socially conscious form of capitalism than what we usually experience on a daily basis.
Well,
so,
let's steal your thunder for a second there, Jeff, because I'm involved with this because I really believe in what they're doing. In a greater sense, what you've got to look at, technology is allowing us to do. I'm still on because I don't have the technical prowess that most do. The strength in numbers here. This, if you connect the dots, the here are you've got an apple a give. We make a change in a lot of people's lives, feeding the homeless, doing the right thing, and now take this platform that they're putting together and really offer some guidance and some healing. When I say over dramatic, there are people who are be able to participate and support their candidate through PayGive. Going to do at the end of it is going to allow look at each other and be able to say, okay, well, my candidate won, but with technology like this, where you can track how many people gave, it's almost like you can put your put a fair guesstimate on who's more popular. And I think that means a lot because I have this where the forest burns, and we all know what happened up in Canada. The forest is burned to the ground, but heartache of having those 100-year-old trees die. 6 months later, the animals come life in the forest. Seedlings are popping, and this is almost as the wave has come in. I think that has been done, and it will continue that are occurring right now. There's still going to be divisiveness, but the components that we now have, and I'm talking specifically with you donate that couple of cents from the cup of coffee. Once again, if you're buying an appliance, it all matters, and I really believe it's going to just really project fairness. Will. So, like I said, I really believe in this, and I in the next few weeks to see where this is going. We between now and the November elections, whether it's I'd like to thank you for having President Biden on, even though I'm
if only.
This is what I really wanted to point out.
So I just want to tell me about. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Tell me off the top of your head, if you could, some of the places that people would be able to send their money through PayGive. We've mentioned candidates, but where are some of the other? You mentioned Catholic Charities. I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. I know you don't have a list in front of you, and I don't either, which was stupid. I should have a list in front of me. I should have looked it up and printed one out the old-fashioned way so I could read off of it. But what are some of the groups or charities or organizations that you can give to?
We've got right now, I'm working with Homes for the Brave in Connecticut, an organization, a 501c3 that care of homeless veterans and provides housing, provides counseling, that nature. Kiwanis Club, we're getting all that worked out. This number of charities. I would encourage everyone to go to paygive.org. Familiarize yourself with the process, with the charities. If you are a charity who is watching this and listening, please communicate with us. I will be glad to give you my email if you want to contact me, or like I said, if you go to paygive.org, they've got folks who are involved with this now that have over 15 working with various charities throughout the country and throughout the world. I'm working steadily right now to get Catholic Charities on board, several others to come. We will have a tremendous list of charities donations. And like I said, if anyone out there has a connect with us, my personal email is ggm@yahoo.com. That's Greater Good Media 714 at. Just go to paygive.org. The staff there is fantastic. They'll nuts and bolts on what you have to do.
So if you're a charity, community service organization candidate,
Yeah,
you can go to paygive.org, connect with their staff, and sign up or register, if you will, to be a recipient and put yourself on the list of recipients so that when folks use PayGive to pay for things, that percentage will come back to you or to your group.
right. And I want to jump in because this might be a really good time to tell folks what happened to your pooch, and their animal shelter.
I wasn't going to subject you to that, but I am going to talk about it later, though, because I do, yeah. Because the person that did it to her is very close to my heart right now, in a very dark part of it, but but very close to it.
Like I said, Jeff, this is I wanted to break this here on your show because you poke a lot of fun, but you have a good heart, and they engage, they understand. I'm a huge fan, and I've met some wonderful people through this show on the political side in general, and that's the energy that's really going to difference for all of us. So like I said, this and a half before all the bells and whistles start, but time to start learning about how we can make a difference. It's like I said, it's all good.
So if any of you out there might be concerned for any reason, and I have to be honest, I'm not sure why you would be. Trust me, by now, you know me. But if anybody's concerned that, oh man, here he goes. He's going corporate. Here comes the advertising. If you've been a part of this program since the beginning, you will know that I have been begging for advertising. I have approached more places than you can count about advertising. And they have been hesitant. And I can kind of almost understand that at times, well, it's a political program and we don't want to alienate any of our customer base and so on. Well, okay, I can sort of get that, except that, Democrats buy blue jeans and cars and pizza, and we go out to eat and we see movies, and we like to take trips, and we drive, and we fly, and so do Republicans. They buy clothes and cars and pizza, and so this I very much hope, without trying to cast it too far out into the future and try to put a pressure on this that may not come to fruition, but I have a decent feeling will. It's a big deal for a small program like ours that a corporation like this, a company like this, and a group of folks like this found us. They found humble little us. I mean, folks, if the iMac that I work on wasn't so freaking heavy, I'd pick it up and show. I'm in a bedroom, kids. I mean, I'm literally in my second bedroom. I gave up the space for any friends or family to come and stay with us on a visit for all of this. Should anybody feel sorry for me for that? Nope. That's my choice. I'm an adult. I made that choice. And I made it in conjunction with George and Kristen and everybody around the program. And we all said, this is something that we need to do. And I have told you 1,000 times on this program that if I had my druthers, this is what I would do with myself. There's a 1920s term for you. If I had my druthers, which I usually pick up at the haberdasher's on my way to the apothecary, I would. You got all those? Bob got all those. He got them.
Yeah.
If I had, I've been doing radio and TV since I was in high school. I think I'm relatively good at it. And if I could do this every single day, 5 days a week, I don't know, 8 to 12, 9 to 12, somewhere around there. I could still sleep a little bit, but I still got to drag my butt out of bed at a decent hour. I would do that. I'd have my holidays back. I'd have my weekends back. And this is the start of that. And here's what's even better. I'll really get in trouble now. It's not any corporation that might really put a bad taste in your mouth. Let me just put it that way. Some big Fortune 500 mega corporation did not come and try and buy this program. Pay Give will not put a bad taste in your mouth. Not exactly the best tagline I've come up with so far, but it will not. This is not something that you're going to feel sorry of. It's not something that you're going to feel you're contributing to some huge corporate machine. You have to buy stuff anyway. You just do. You have to buy groceries. You have to, at times, go to Home Depot or Lowe's. You have to go. You want, sometimes, because God knows I do, I want a simple, plain glazed donut from Dunkin' Donuts because they're the puffiest, sweetest, most wonderful things ever. And they're simple. Well, I have to pay for that. Well, if I'm going to pay, well, not if I'm going to pay, I'd get arrested if I didn't. When I go to pay for that, why not do some good along the way? And that good is, I'm going to take a portion of the money that I'm spending through this app and send it to Homes for Vets, an animal welfare, children's charities, this candidate, or that candidate, or this county political party committee, or that state committee, or whatever it might be. I'm going to send it somewhere that makes sense to me and that makes me. George mentioned Cinnabon. He's right. Or because they're yummy. Let's just be blunt, shall we? I almost said it. They're bloody wonderful. That said, why not do that? Why not do something good along the way? We all have to spend money. It's part of the economy. It's the way we have to get things. Even though one of these days I will do a program on the burgeoning barter economy, which is actually coming back in these tough times. That said, you still have to buy stuff. So if you're going to buy stuff and you use a pay app like Google Pay or Apple Pay or PayPal or whatever, now you can use PayGive and you can actually make a difference along the way. You have to pay anyway. Why not give when you do it?
I have to mention that I really believe the person who invented the Bavarian win the Nobel Prize. I mean, it's like it said everything you're saying, Jeff, is logical. It's intelligent. They give involved, and I'm going to leave it there because you'll see when you load the app. It's simple. It just gives you a good feeling because you know what, your voice counts, your vote counts. It counts. We have to each other as human beings. So if you're giving a percentage, once again, to Catholic charities, something that's going to make somebody else's life. Sign me up. Sign me up. That said,
And
I
we've talked about on the program before about voting with your wallet. And you can do that. When you download the PayGive app, and I have it here on my phone, and I will show it to you in the Apple App Store. It's right there, a very untechnical way of doing it, but it is right there. It's very simple. Popped right up on the Apple App Store. I have no doubt in my mind it will in the Google Play Store as well for Android. You can vote, if you will, with your wallet. We've talked about this before. When we decide to boycott certain companies because of the stances that they hold, well, now you can support certain things with the money that you're already spending anyway. Let me open this up because I will actually get some ideas of some of the companies that we're dealing with here, just right off the bat here on the advert sort of part of this. Earn up to 15% cash back at your favorite stores, including Amazon, Airbnb, California Pizza Kitchen, CVS, just right off the top, among many, many, many others. Shop and support your favorite nonprofits: the Alzheimer's Association, the American Red Cross, the American Heart Association, Autism Speaks, American Cancer Society, Make-A-Wish Foundation, St. Jude's Wounded Warriors, UNICEF. You can organize a wallet here, a pay wallet, because I think you can link a card to it. I'm not 100% certain on that. And you can, of course, track where you're giving your money and how much money you've given. Yes, it's an advertiser. Yes, it's a business. Just is. Okay. But they're giving you the opportunity to do something good along the way. Let me read for you what's here in the Apple App Store. It's probably better than anything I could have written myself, but I will read it to you anyway. PayGive is a mobile shopping and fundraising app that enables corporate entities, nonprofits, schools, and religious organizations to support fundraising initiatives through everyday shopping. Consumers can easily purchase nationally branded digital gift cards that offer immediate cashback rewards that are delivered directly into your digital wallet. And of course, there's a whole description of how it works and so on. And quite a number of every single review that's here has been a 5-star review. So I will ask you to be a part of it. I will ask you to strongly consider using it. And heck, they're even going to support little old us. So that's our big announcement that we wanted to tell you about. And that's it. That's us. That's our big thing. We now have an advertiser. What a big deal. We have an advertiser. It's a big, big deal for the program. And it's a big statement, I think, by PayGive about how important these types of things can be. A humble, completely grassroots, never made a dime sort of program that just comes, talks to you like adults, tells you the truth, simply does not and will not lie to you, and can really be a part of this, and that they want to be a part of us. It means a great deal to us. Could very much be a big, big, big game changer for us, and it makes a real statement, dare I say, about some of the things that we've done here at the program, what we've built, and what the folks of this company actually think of it. So I hope that you will download it. You will be hearing more and more about it. You will be hearing regular ads about it during our program. I'm going to write a really fancy, wonderfully written live read, and we will start doing that starting next week and before we sign off today. But that is our big announcement, and I hope that you will be a part of it to our entire audience, and I hope that you will strongly consider, if you've not already done as I have done, to download the app and vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. You need to pay for things anyway, so why not do some good along the way? So the Pay Give app allows you the opportunity not just to pay, but to give. You have to pay anyway. You might as well give along the way.
Well, Jeff, listen, thank you very much for having me on again. Listen, now you can get into the rest of your program. I gotta make a hard left, and we will talk soon. Thanks,
Is that
everybody.
political hard left, or you just gotta make a hard left?
Either way. All right, but take care, everybody.
Thank you for coming back to visit us, and we'll talk again soon. You know that you're always welcome here. When you bring advertisers, you are always welcome here. But we'll talk soon. That's Bob Kosh, and that was our big announcement for the program, is that we now have an actual advertiser, someone who's going to put advertising dollars into our coffers, as we will, if you will. I suspect if I was to use the word coffers, it would presume the fact that I actually have coffers. We don't. And yeah, we've had a couple people that subscribe through Patreon. There's a couple bucks in the PayPal account, which is linked to the Patreon, but I assure you nothing shocking. In fact, if there was 3 digits worth of money in there, I'd be stunned. I probably should look before the end of the show to be factual about that. But if there was even $100 in there, I think I'd be stunned. But we've never really made money on this program. It was never our intention to make huge amounts of money on this program. It was always a dream of mine that the program would eventually become my full-time career and hopefully provide George some form of income in any contribution, that we would have enough advertisers, that we would be flooded with calls every single episode to show even more advertisers that this is a place for them to be. And, like it, lump it, love it, whatever, we now have one. And I hope that it's the icebreaker. I hope that it's the icebreaker that we need to show other folks that this is a place that you can advertise, that people are listening, they are watching, and they will buy if recommended on this program. And let me mention that too, and I should have mentioned it before. I would not have welcomed PayGive if I didn't believe and trust what they are doing. Again, all you need to do is go to the Apple App Store and you will see nothing but 5-star reviews there. So I would ask you to check it out. This is just part of the gig, kids. If you're going to advertise, you better believe in what you're advertising. If you're going to do something like this full time and try to pay your home, your bills with it, you would really, really like to do it with somebody that you can trust and that you believe in. I do believe in this. I'm putting whatever credibility I might have with you behind it. And I hope that you will download it. I hope that you will study how it works. And I hope that you will, use it and use it often. Again, we all have to pay for things. Why not give along the way? I think it's an excellent idea. And I'm proud to be a part of it. And it's going to be a game changer for our program. So we're at an odd time. We're at like 5 of. It's a little early to reset. But hey, let's do it anyway. You are watching and listening to The Kennedy Effect live with you for the 11th of June, 2023. I should tell you that we will actually not be with you next week. It's Father's Day. you know that we generally don't come to you on weekends, or I should say on weekends. Of course, we come to you on weekends. It's Sunday. We don't come to you on holiday weekends, and so we will not next weekend. And I know Father's Day for a lot of you might be a Hallmark holiday, as you will, but you know what? It's an important day. In the same way that in everything that we would do for Mother's Day, you should be doing for Father's Day. So we will not be with you next week for Father's Day. Go spend time with your father, your grandfathers, maybe a stepdad, your godfather, uncles, the important elder men in your life. Use next weekend to spend with them. I don't have my dad with me anymore. Both my grandfathers passed when I was exceptionally young. My dad's dad died when I was an infant. There's literally one picture of him holding me, and that's it. Nothing else. And my mom's dad died when I was 4, I think, 4 or 5. No, even younger. It might have only been like 3. I was super young. I have very, very few memories of him at all. And I haven't had my dad now since 2016. And I can tell you that even though I'd like to think I was a fully formed adult when he passed, I kind of wasn't. And I haven't been the same since. And our family hasn't been the same since. And I suspect we never will. So please use Father's Day for what it's meant to. Go see Dad. Go see Grandpa. Go see that important uncle or your godfather, whoever that important older male figure, that father figure is in your life, because you never know. You just never know. So we won't be with you next week, and then we will return on... I will try to find my calendar. I lost my calendar. So next week is Father's Day, and then we will return on June 25th. That will be our plan. We actually will be with you, or plan to be with you, on July 2nd as well, because July 4th actually falls on a Tuesday, and I have to work anyway, so who cares? So it's not going to be too much of a holiday weekend, I don't think. Our plan will be to be with you on July 2nd. That's the plan. So let us know what you think about this addition to the program, if you will. We'd be happy to hear from you. I do not know. I don't think we've fixed the phones yet, to be honest. George and I did work on it this week, and I don't think we've solved it quite yet. We now have 2 weeks to figure it out, and I suspect by the time that we return to you on the 25th that we will have everything worked out, because we think we know how to fix it. Now we just need to fix it. And that's not always easy. Now, when George came on today, well, you'll remember the first week that I used Restream, I was backward. We got that fixed. When George came on tonight, he was backward. We got that fixed. We do know how to fix these things. It just sometimes it's a bit of a... Sometimes we try something, we think it's going to work. It doesn't quite work. But we always get it fixed eventually. The ability to take your phone calls through the voice where I don't have to hold the phone up will come. We will fix it. We'll get it figured out. I have no doubt about that. So that was our big news. I hope that you understand it. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you're excited about it as we are, because it really is a big deal for our program. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, wherever you might be around the globe. This is the Kennedy Effect Live for the 11th of June, 2023. Wherever you might be across the Facebook universe, and we have shared the program to about 110 different places this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to be part of your day, of your weekend, or, as I mentioned to our loyal listeners in the Pacific Rim, to your Monday, to your work day. because Hot 101 literally has steady listeners around the globe. Australia, New Zealand, across the African continent, around the Western European continent, Central, South, and North America as well. So whatever time it might be for you on this spinning orb of ours, welcome and thank you for allowing us to be part of your day. Wherever you are across the Facebook universe, if you have been so kind, and I do mean so kind, as to share our program on your little corner of Facebook, your group, your personal timeline, your page, whatever it might be, public group, private group, regardless, thank you. We could not do it without you. Please feel free to come on over to that other side of information where I will see your comments, or at least I think I'm in the right place where I'm seeing your comments. I see Randall, I see Phyllis, I see the boss, I see Alex. I think I'm in the right place where I'm seeing your comments. The comments that you have seen pop up on the screen have come basically from George and me. If you're on YouTube, thank you for being there too. Remember now, we are at both places consistently each week. Our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information, our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information as well. Coming up, following us on hot101.net and on our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information, The Villain's View, comes back to you at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. To our sisters, brothers, friends, and family at hot101.net around the globe, thank you very much for allowing us to be part of your day. If you don't know how to listen to hot101.net, it's extremely simple. Our name is our web address. It's hot101.net. Any device anywhere around the globe that can connect to the internet and has a speaker will allow you to listen to hot101.net. But you don't have to use the website. You can use our apps: Apple App Store, Google Play Store for Android, and the TuneIn radio app. For TuneIn, go up to the search bar, type in Hot 101, and you are good to go. For Google, for Android, and Apple, tap it. It opens. You're listening. Period. Done. End of story. It's the simplest thing you could possibly use. And running across the bottom tells you exactly what you're listening to. There's no work to be done. You tap it. It opens. You play. You can Bluetooth it to speakers, to headphones, to earbuds. You can Bluetooth it through your car speakers as well. And of course, you can always tell Alexa to play hot101.net. And of course, our friends and family at the TCP Media Group. We are proud to be part of the TCP family and humbled to be part of it as well. And of course, now our new soul opening, ice-breaking, game-changing, we hope, sponsor, the PayGive app. You have to pay for things anyway. Why not give while you do it? Use the PayGive app to pay for things at merchants all across the country, and you can designate a percentage of your purchase to charities and even to political candidates. So we hope that you will give PayGive a chance. 6:04 Eastern. Let me get into the three big remaining things that I want to talk about before we say goodbye to you. And I don't know how long that's going to be honest. I guess it will depend on whether the phone rings or, how many folks I see in the chat. The chat's been extremely quiet, like properly quiet. So not sure what's up with that, but it's been very, very quiet. So if you have questions, comments, you want to yell, scream, agree with me about anything, disagree with me about anything, a topic that you want me to mention, please feel free. Put it in the chat on YouTube or at my Facebook page, just Jeff Kennedy. I don't think I'm seeing the comments from the group page. But if you go to my personal timeline, just Jeff Kennedy, I will see your comments. So if you have anything that you want me to address, please feel free. But let me get in. There were three other big topics that I wanted to bring up with you before we say goodnight for this week. Well, really for 2 weeks. I made a joke in the show announcement. Did anything happen this week? Was there any news this week? Was there anything that we needed to talk about? And of course, I mean it, facetiously. Of course there is. So let's get to it. 2 of them are political, 1 is very personal. So let's get to it. We know that Thursday evening, the ex-president of the United States was indicted on 37 counts of violation, 37 felonies, violations of the Espionage Act for him illegally taking classified documents to his Florida property, Mar-a-Lago. We've seen some of the pictures of the boxes that have been moved around the property, from showers to bathrooms to basements to guest rooms to his private residence. We've seen pictures of documents at his New Jersey property, not an hour away from where I am right now in Bedminster. And there's so much that one could say about this, and a lot of it has already been said. I don't think I'm going to necessarily come to you with any terribly cogent, poignant, brand new takes on this. There's really only so many different ways that you can look at it. And I shall look at it, I have to say, in pretty much the same way that a lot of people are looking at it. And to be honest, the way that some folks are not. Now, I've seen some folks on the progressive end of things in a bit of a celebratory mood this week, or really since Thursday, since the indictment came down. I'm not celebrating. This is not something to be happy about or something to be proud of. I am happy and proud that there is justice, and that there is at least a periphery appearance that the justice system works, and that the richest and most powerful among us can yet still be held to account. Because if you really read the indictment, this is an open and shut case. Special counsel Jack Smith has said that it will take 21 days for the prosecution to present its case. I got to be honest, I don't know how it would even take 21 hours. The photos, the recordings, the transcripts, the direct eyewitness accounts telling the grand jury and Jack Smith, oh, he showed me a classified document and said, I'm not supposed to let you see this because it's top secret. I'm paraphrasing. This should be an open and shut case. But I also think that the special counsel, Jack Smith, deserves a tremendous amount of credit for the work that he's done. There's been no leaks. He hasn't gone out and given a presser every day or every week or even every month. In fact, he's done everything he can to avoid the press. He has done his job. He has done it silently. And he has presented the indictment, if you really read it, in almost a bit of a story or novelistic type layout. And I have not read all of it myself, to be fair. But it tells the story sequentially. And it explains why the ex-president was indicted as he was. It explains every one of the counts. The case is right there. Now, I would not be surprised if Special Counsel Smith had more evidence, but at least what he's laid out in public is pretty darn cut and dry. So why is this sad to me? It's sad because this is Banana Republic kind of stuff. But not for the reasons that the Republicans and Trump himself would have you believe. Not because it's political retribution. Let's remember, Trump was impeached the first time for trying to bribe a foreign country to dig up dirt on his political rivals. He's the one that campaigned that he was going to jail his political rivals, some without trial. So for him to now barnstorm the country and talk about political retribution is a very all too familiar fascist response. I'm not doing that, they're doing it. It's my enemies that are doing this to me, even as I do everything I'm accusing them of doing. But it is sad for our country. This is the United States of America. This is the longest continuously operating democracy on earth. It's sad that the former head of government should find himself being indicted. But here's the real sad part to me. Now look, I never agreed. Well, first off, Trump in 2016 ran on Bernie Sanders' platform. We're going to tax rich people. We're going to strengthen Social Security and expand it. We're going to give you better health care than you've ever seen, and rich people are going to have to pay. And then as soon as he lied about all of it. And when he got into office, immediately cut taxes on rich people. And then flew to Mar-a-Lago, had a big party, and told the rich people who paid tens of thousands of dollars to attend, you should thank me, I just cut your taxes. So he ran on a progressive platform and did not believe or enact any of it. So he lied about all of it. For those of us who had lived in the New York City, Northern New Jersey, New York metro area, we've known since the 80s what a crook this man is. We knew he was a charlatan. We knew he was a snake oil salesman. We knew it. We all knew it. One of the sad parts is that a man like this was ever elected in the first place. And not just because I disagreed with him on an issue basis, but because, again, we in the New York area knew who he was. And what's interesting about who he was is that the man that ran for president the first time, when he finally ran, he'd been dancing around running for president since the 90s. Almost threatening to run for president, which is, seems to fit in with the personality. But we knew who he was. And the who he was kind of not completely two different people. You knew he only cared about rich people. He'd only ever cared about rich people. He only ever cared about being famous in the press and being rich and powerful. But also the Donald Trump of the 80s and 90s and earlier 2000s, pre-Barack Obama, was a man who said in public repeatedly, who cares if same-sex couples get married? They have rights. Who cares? It's not our place to care about that. A man who never cared about abortion because he considered it a personal decision. Actually talked about how it was never a political issue. Why was abortion a political issue? It was a personal decision. These are things he said out in public. He believed that Reaganism was destroying the economy of the country because we were shipping our manufacturing overseas. He was right. But that's not the man that ran for president. Or at least it's not the man that served or held the office, because he really didn't serve anyone other than himself. So the sad part to me is not that he got indicted, it's that we ever elected him in the first place. His election is a failure of American democracy. He was never properly vetted by the media or by the institutions of government itself. It should not have taken him to be out of office for the legal and judicial system to take a serious look at what he had been doing for decades. It should not have taken until after he was out for him to have been given a serious look. That should have happened beforehand. It should have happened with the media should have done these things. We would never have allowed anyone else to do what he got away with. Never. The media completely failed the American people. The Fourth Estate, a constitutionally protected entity, it never should have happened. It never should have happened. That's the sad part, is that we shouldn't be here. We should not be here, because the man never should have been elected to office in the first place, because he's been a crook and a criminal and a would-be mob boss since he was in his teens and 20s, since daddy handed him $400 million, which he eventually squandered. A man who bankrupted casinos where people walk in and hand you their money. So the sad part is not that he's been indicted, it's that he ever got elected in the first place. And not just because I disagreed with him politically, but because he was a failed, flawed, and just dark human being. Even if we set that aside, this indictment should give us some hope. Hope that the powerful can be called to task, that they can be held accountable. It should be good news to us. As much as anyone, I have come to you here each week and talked to you about how there are many justice systems in this country. There's a justice system for people of color. There's one for poor people. There's one for women. There's one for ex-cons. And there's one for the rich and powerful. There's even two for the rich and powerful non-political, and rich and powerful who are political. We have many, many justice systems in this country. And too many of them are dependent upon your skin color and your bank account. This gives me a tiny bit of hope that perhaps those systems are not as diverse as I think they are. And that perhaps the rich and the powerful, the white, well, orange, can be held to account. That if you break the law, you will be held to account. this does give me a little bit of hope. Special Counsel Smith also deserves a tremendous amount of credit for what he did say in the press conference. That Mr. Trump is presumed innocent until such a time that he might be found guilty by a jury of his peers. We never heard anyone in the Trump Justice Department ever say anything of the sort. And let's take a step back and dispel this lie while we're at it. There's been a lot of talk from Republican circles this week about the Biden Justice Department indicting Trump. I am here to tell you straight out that is false, and it is a lie. Jack Smith is an independent counsel. He was named by Attorney General Garland, yes. But by naming him, the Justice Department, under the special counsel law, removes itself then from the investigation. Whatever special counsel Smith came up with would have been the final finding. If his 6-month-long investigation, actually, it is 6 months, had found that Mr. Trump had done absolutely nothing wrong, well, then that's that. It is not President Biden's Justice Department that did this. A special counsel did this. And remember, another special counsel just reported not a month ago, Mr. Durham, a special counsel left over from the Trump regime, who'd been conducting an investigation over 4 years, and a man by all reports who was bilking the taxpayers for a pretty darn high-level luxurious life, all billed to you and me, to produce a report that simply said nothing was done wrong. That some steps were skipped in an investigation, but nothing illegal took place. Why was Mr. Durham allowed to continue? Because that's the special counsel law. The Biden administration couldn't stop it. He could have fired him the way Nixon tried to fire the special counsel in his day, but we know that the political repercussions of that would have been staggering. And so he was allowed to continue. He bilked the taxpayers for a very reportedly lavish lifestyle and came up with nothing. And in 6 months, Mr. Smith was found 37 counts of federal Espionage Act and obstruction charges. So I will not even get into the charges themselves. But I do think we need to tell the truth about the investigation in and of itself. We've also heard an awful lot this week, the Republican rebuttal line, if you will, of the quote-unquote weaponization of the Justice Department, or the weaponization of government. Republicans don't fear this. In fact, they want to use it. And they did use it during the Trump years. They don't fear the weaponization of government. They like it. It sounds really good. It's a great tagline. It scares people. But they don't, in and of themselves, fear it or even believe it. This is, again, the extraordinary skill, if you will, that Republicans have of blaming people for doing what they themselves are doing. That's what this is. If anyone has weaponized government, again, I take you back to the Trump regime. I take you back to the Trump regime. Where election officials across the country were investigated for doing nothing other than their jobs. Where the president would name these election officials. Where Trump would name them and turn them into targets of violence. Campaigning on investigating and jailing his political rivals. Some without trial. That's the weaponization of government. I would argue that the weaponization of government goes beyond that. It goes into declaring war on poor people by demonizing them, starving them, denying them of essential human rights and services. The weaponization of government is the privatization of government, making schools unaffordable, making electricity, roads, water unaffordable. This is the weaponization of government. Not what the right has been screaming about, whinging about all week. That's the weaponization of government. There's also been a lot of talk this week about the potential for violence on Tuesday when Trump is due in court. I fear there will be. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. There's a lot of things sometimes that I want to be wrong about, and I'm not. There's things that I want to be wrong about, and I end up being wrong, and it actually makes me happy. This is one of them. I very much hope that there's no violence on Tuesday, but I expect that there will be. Republican officials across the country have called for the same self-appointed militiamen, survivalists, anarchists, fascist followers to show up in Miami on Tuesday and disrupt things. I can only hope that law enforcement is up to the task. Because, by the way, Governor DeSantis is not going to send National Guard troops there. He's not going to give them any help. That's for sure. You've had Carrie Lake. You've had several members of Congress call troops, basically. Essentially, put out the call to armed militia to show up on Tuesday and disrupt the proceedings. And I very much expect that they will. Are we going to see another January 6th type event? I don't know. But I fear that we will. Are we going to see a Waco type event? Are we going to see a Charlottesville type event? Yeah, I kind of think we might. I really hope not. I want to be wrong. And the whole proceeding shouldn't really take, I don't think, more than half an hour. It's going to be very, very similar to the proceeding in New York City. Judge will come in, do some formalities. He'll say not guilty. They'll either set a trial date or a date for further motions to be heard, and they'll walk away. And that'll be that. And let me bring up the other thing that worries me. This is a Trump-appointed judge so far who has this case. The same judge, a 42-year-old woman, who was a former federal prosecutor and did intern for a federal judge. She does have some experience. She's got more experience than most of the people that were jammed through the system by Mitch McConnell and Trump during his 4 years. But she's also the one who tried to make this case go away. She's the same one that appointed a special master over the case and was resoundingly, universally rebuked by every higher court and colleague that she had that she was making law up out of thin air. Whether she stays on this case or not, I guess we'll have to see. But it also goes to the credibility of Special Counsel Smith, that he was willing to have this trial in a venue where he knew he could end up with a Trump-appointed judge in a red state, an increasingly red state, a state that Trump won twice, and by a pretty good margin. And yet the special counsel was willing to choose that as a venue, because he could have conducted the case in Washington, but made a conscious decision to have it in Florida. It speaks to his credibility. It speaks to the fact that this is a profoundly non-political case to him. Now, this judge may or may not stay on the case. She might recuse herself. If she's smart, she will, because she's already proved she's not up to the task. But she's not required to do it. But I hope that she will. Also, Special Counsel Smith can move that she recuse herself because she is a Trump appointee and because she has already done work on this case. But I don't know that he will. But he can. But I think the fact that he is willing to try this case here makes this all the more credible. And that's how we need to look at it. Even if you are a Trump supporter, he went to the most, other than Texas, he probably went to the most difficult place in the country to try a case like this. Willingly. So, nothing about this case is anything that the right has told you that it is. It is legit. It is on the up and up. It is honest. It is not corrupt. And it is not the weaponization of government. And it is not an effort by the Biden administration. Jack Smith is an independent counsel. 6:33 Eastern Time. This is the Kennedy Effect live for June 11, 2023. Wherever you are on Facebook, come on over to our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information, or my own personal timeline where it seems that most people are watching is just search for Jeff Kennedy. It's right there on the screen. We thank you for allowing us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe. We could not do it without you. We are also live on our YouTube channel right now, That Other Side of Information. And if you have missed any of the programs so far, if you missed our big announcement, you can always go back and watch our recorded program. The easiest place is our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. Hot101.net, our name is our web address, Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and the TuneIn radio app. You can also tell Alexa to play Hot101.net. The TCP Media Group from Lancaster, PA, still remains an important voice in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And of course, if you missed the first hour of the program, let me introduce you to our advertiser. Yes, we have an advertiser. The Pay Give app. You have to pay for things anyway. Why not take some of that money that you're already spending and dedicate it to causes or even political candidates that you feel strongly about? You can do that through the Pay Give app. You have to buy things. Why not give while you do it? Check out the Pay Give app at the Apple App Store, Google Play Store for Android, or wherever you find your apps. Check it out, sign up, and become part of it. You can vote with your wallet. What charities, what causes, what candidates are near and dear to your heart? Which ones do you want to support? Go do it, and you can do it through the Pay Give app. You got to pay anyway. You might as well give while you do it. The Pay Give app, paygive.com. And again, go to your favorite app store, and you can find it there. There is another international political event that I wanted to mention. And that is the past week here in the Northeast and New England area of the country, the upper right-hand corner of the country, if you will. On Wednesday and Thursday, especially here in the Lehigh Valley, And I'm sure you saw the pictures of Manhattan, Boston. The smoke from the Canadian wildfires was so bad that outdoor events were closed throughout the region. People, at least on Wednesday, if you had any type of respiratory, if you had suffered COVID, if you had long COVID, COPD, asthma, so on, congestive heart failure, you were asked, recommended strongly to stay indoors because the air quality was that bad. When I left work Wednesday, because even though I have asthma, I still went to work because I don't pay the bills if I don't go to work. God bless America. You could smell the smoke. You could see it. It looked like fog. It was actually kind of clear in a way. It wasn't what happened Thursday, and I'll get to that. It kind of looked like fog. Sky was gray, and everything smelled like a campfire. To be honest, it kind of smelled good. I kind of like the smell of a campfire. And the idea of a campfire and the fun that you have around a campfire is kind of entertaining and fun, and it brings up good memories. But at that point, Lehigh Valley had the worst air quality in the country. We don't have very good air quality to start with. Considering just how the entire industrial heart of this country and this valley has been ripped out from under it, why we continue to have such poor air quality in this valley is a mystery to me. Because the amount of manufacturing that happens here is not probably 1/100th of what it used to be. There is a tremendous amount of truck traffic and motor traffic, so I'm sure that's part of it. But anyway, when I got out of work, it looked like fog. It was white, haze, and it just smelled like a campfire. And then came Thursday, when the science fiction sort of post-apocalyptic world began. As the day went on, it woke up in the morning, there was actually blue skies. I could still smell smoke. There was actually some blue skies, and most of the haze had kind of lifted. The cloudiness, if you will, had kind of lifted. But as the day went on, it got thicker and thicker and thicker. The sun itself was almost completely blotted out. And the sunlight that came through had an orange tint to it. It looked very post-apocalyptic. It looked very much like the camera filter that was used to shoot The Day After, if you remember the old nuclear holocaust movie, TV movie from the 80s. It looked very much like that, or very much like The Book of Eli, if you've ever seen that movie. And so what? You all knew about this. You saw the news stories. You lived it. You breathed it, whatever. What is my point in bringing it up? Because for those of us in our society who would say that climate change is not real, and that what happens to our neighbor does not affect us, I would say to you, or have you woken up yet? Canadian wildfires are thousands of miles north of where I live, and yet they choked out my valley for 2.5 days. They canceled outdoor events for kids all the way up to Major League Baseball in an entire region. The fires are still burning. We just got a little lucky that the winds changed. If the jet stream should change again, we'll be right back in it. But for those of you who have denied the very simple fact that we are all interconnected, that we are a global society, have you woken up yet? We have a border with Canada. Did it stop the smoke? Nope. Who cares if the Canadian woods burn? while the entire northeast quadrant of the country came to care. And when our wildfire, and last year, by the way, the Lehigh Valley was choked out with smoke from the California wildfires, the California, Oregon, and Washington wildfires. We are interconnected. Global climate change is real. For all the deniers out there who think it's not, and for all the deniers out there who think, as long as I have my gun, I'm good. No, you're not. What happens thousands of miles away can affect you. And we saw that this week. How on earth do you deny, no pun intended, Earth, do you deny what is happening to this planet when it is right in front of you? When you can walk outside and the air itself can choke you? There's nothing left to deny. It is real. It is absolutely real. And what happens even thousands of miles away can affect you. Phone numbers up on the screen, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. Phone is open. I think I'm still going to have to hold it up to the mic. We didn't quite get everything working yet. We do have 2 weeks because we are not going to be with you next week for Father's Day, but we return on the 25th, and hopefully by the 25th, George and I will have time to get everything going. If you see that second square on the screen, you should, with our show logo. That is, of course, my dear friend of more than 20 years now, by my calculations, and, of course, the senior technical producer of this program, George Dare, is with us again, and we are thrilled that he is. And it is me, Jeff Kennedy, with you live on the Kennedy Effect for June 11th, 2023. Patricia mentions in the comments, I want to make sure that I read it, Donald J. Trump hasn't been, quote-unquote, innocent since he was in diapers, contained in a crib, in her humble opinion. No one has ever cared enough to, I'm sorry, it's the white text over the light-colored screen. I'm having an issue. No one has ever cared enough to detour him into a sense of community of the human family. I think you are absolutely spot on about that. Man cares for nothing other than himself and his wealth and his power. And it's too late now to change him. I think you were right about that as well. His path of destruction will take a long time to repair, even if he's removed from the landscape. I agree, sadly, because I don't wish ill will on anyone. I'd like to be better than that. And for folks to say, well, oh, can't he just die already? Well, I understand what you mean, but let's be a little better than that, shall we? Let's be a little better than that. Now, this Patricia's comment brings a really neat thing to mind that I had forgotten about, to be honest. And I did want to mention it. Ali Velshi, a very interesting set of guests on his show Saturday morning. 2 former Republican House members, Charlie Dent, who used to represent my area, and Joe Walsh of Ohio. And Joe Walsh, if you remember, during the Obama administration, was the Matt Gaetz of his day. He was the Louis Gohmert of his day. He was the Lauren Boebert of his day. And he admits that he was. And they got themselves into a very interesting debate about where is the Republican Party. Charlie Dent, being the kind of milquetoast sort of centrist guy that he is, kind of guy that got him reelected time and time and time again. Very arch conservative, very corporatist, very rich over poor kind of guy, but was always very well regarded as someone you could talk to, somebody reasonable. Actually did, I'm told, did quite a good job of constituent services. His, Ali Velsh's question was very simple. Where is the Republican Party and where does it go? And Charlie Dent was kind of bemoaning the point that not enough elected officials inside the party were standing up to Trump to say this is not who we are, and that you need to go away now, and that we need to move past this. And Joe Walsh's point was the Republican Party is dead because this is exactly who it is now. It is racist. It is totalitarian. It is owned by the billionaires. It is violent as a matter of first recourse. It is the book banning, anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-minority, anti-immigrant, anti-international law, anti-ally party. Now, you've heard me tell you here repeatedly, I don't think the Republican Party is even a functioning political party anymore at this point. It is strictly a corporation owned by billionaires who have decided that democracy is no longer convenient to them. And they have bought a political party to end democracy. And there are too many damn people in that party who are all too willing to have it happen. Nearly a third, almost half of the Republican members of the U.S. House of Representatives are election deniers. They've praised people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Some of them helped. So Joe Walsh's point was, Charlie, it's not that we need more people to stand up against this. This is who we are now. This is what the Republican Party is. There's no one to stand up against it because the party has embraced it. And Joe Walsh is right. He's right. Even the wild, wacky crap and performance art that Joe Walsh used to put himself through. And I should try to reach out to him. This actually is kind of the small little program that he might be willing to come and visit. We really should try to find him, George, and see if we could get to him somehow. I'm not sure how we would do that. This might be the humble little program that he would actually come share his thoughts with. But his argument is that the Republican Party no longer exists. It is totalitarian now. They might still wear the name Republican, but that they have become completely totalitarian, violent. They have no platform. They can only scream about what they're against. And that the only thing they seem to actually push for is anything that benefits billionaires and corporations. And anything that destroys government. I have always said to my Republican friends that we can always have, and we should have, it's good for democracy, to debate the role of government. The fundamental difference between the two parties comes down to the role of government. Republicans taking the point of view that the federal government cannot do this because the Constitution does not say that it can. And Democrats saying the federal government can do this because the Constitution does not say that it cannot. It's been the fundamental, easiest difference between the two parties since their creations. But now Republicans have gone in a completely different direction. It is now violence. In fact, I published an article this week from The Guardian, a University of Chicago, ironically, the University of Chicago, the same place where, trickle-down economics came from, that about a third of people, not even just Republicans, but about a third of people surveyed, said that yes, violence is a perfectly legitimate way to get your way politically if you don't agree with what's happening. That's who the Republican Party is. And I fear that we're going to see that again on Tuesday. I hope not. I really, really hope not. I don't want to see it. But I fear it's what we're going to see. We're going to see another January 6th style event on Tuesday. I don't want to, and I hope I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong. I hope it's a complete non-event. Every media outlet's going to have somebody there taking pictures and video of him walking in. There's going to be artists, if they have a camera in the courtroom, and honestly, I don't know if they do or not. So there'll either be video of that or, the old courtroom artists' renderings. And I have a feeling that within, like I said, within 10, 15, probably no more than half an hour, it'll be over. And we've heard people who are familiar with the building, the federal courthouse in Miami, that it has a very large courtyard. So that Mr. Trump will be able to come out and make a spectacle when he's done. And I suspect he will. But I very much hope there's no violence, but I think there will be. Because that's who they are now. Republicans don't really support anything. They are angry, they hate, they want to shut down, stop, beat up, shoot, kill, whatever they don't agree with. It's built entirely on anger and grievance. We need to ostracize trans kids before they take something from you. What? What are they going to take from you? We need to stop immigrants at the border, except for the fact that we hire them because they're cheap. So we don't want them, but we want them. So this indictment, you might think to yourself, how would Trump's indictment and the entire Northeast being choked out by smoke for 3 days be linked? They are. Because the same group of folks who are willing to go to war, because Donald Trump tells them to, because he doesn't want to go to jail, are the same people that think that the smoke from Canada is some kind of plot. And they deny that too. And their answer to everything increasingly is violence. These are many, if not all, of the same people. I'll bet you never thought the indictment and the smoke were related. But they are, and they can be. And it's frightening. And again, I know I've already said it a dozen times. I hope that I'm wrong. And that there is no violence on Tuesday. And that it is a complete non-event. That is my desperate, desperate hope. I'm just not confident in that hope. I suspect that there will be an issue. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189 is the number, and the number is open for you. It has been a very, very quiet chat, other than Patricia. And Patricia, you keep chatting away, gal, if you wish. Happy to take your questions and comments either through YouTube or through Facebook. You have been a very, very quiet group. Let me just put in the chat here. shouldn't do this because I can't really type and talk to you at the same time. It doesn't work that well. But yeah, let's have a chat, folks. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you wish to do to be part of the conversation, you are welcome to do it here as always. I would like to think it's one of the reasons that the Pay Give folks picked us out as a place to advertise is that we are completely interactive. We are live, 100% live and interactive. Your comments, your questions, your phone calls, your emails, your tweets, your everything is welcome here. Anything that pushes the conversation along. And by no means does anyone have to agree with me. If you disagree, tell me that too. I'm happy to hear it. Let's have a conversation. That's how people talk to each other. Debate is exceptionally healthy for anyone, for both of us. I learn, you learn, we exchange ideas, we talk to each other. We can do this, folks. We can do this. So that's us. Let me also say, it's kind of like 3 before the hour, so I don't necessarily want to reset quite yet. Let me know, by the way, what your experiences were with the smoke this week. I have asthma. I am not treated for it on a regular basis. I just keep a Primatene with me, and I do have a prescription inhaler as well. And I kind of hit that when I need it. And ironically, I did not need it this week. I got a little bit close. I'm very careful about how I use it because it really does make me feel a bit odd. So I'm very careful about how I use it. But I did not have to use it this week. But then again, I wasn't outside all that long. I actually thought Wednesday, had a very weird feeling about Wednesday. Because I knew it was smoke, but yet the skies were not, they weren't blue, but they weren't completely gray. There was a good bit of sunlight still coming through. The smoke itself was very white, and it just didn't look as apocalyptic as it did on Thursday. Thursday was frightening. Not hide under your desk, there's a tornado coming kind of frightening, but when I was at work with my coworkers and teammates, and we would look out the window and look, it's just orange. And you could kind of almost stare directly at the sun and not hurt your eyes because it was so obscured by smoke. And the smoke was so thick that a tree in a courtyard of where I work that was 20 feet away from the window was obscured by the smoke. The other side of the building was invisible. Some of the cars in the car park were invisible. That's how bad Thursday was. And that orange sort of glow was just, it was creepy. And it really looked like a science fiction movie. And that Thursday, I had some troubles. I didn't stay out long. I went from work to the car, came home, from the car in. That's about as much as I breathed in. But the car air filter was not enough to take care of it. I'm very lucky that the central air has filtered out a tremendous amount of the smoke, even though by the end of the day, Thursday, some of it was starting to get in. The smoke was getting into the office. By midday Thursday, I was smelling smoke in the office, and so were some of my coworkers. But it was so pervasive, that's not a complaint about the office or a complaint about the company or anything. It just was so pervasive, it was finally coming in. So I was very lucky that I didn't have to use the inhaler or anything like that. But it was thick. It was not pleasant breathing on Thursday. I was even thinking Wednesday, I might even try to still take a bike ride. It just wasn't that bad. And it smelled, even though it was that bad, the science says it was that bad. The air quality monitors said it was that bad. It just didn't feel it. It was a little brighter. Like I said, the smoke was white and the sun was still coming through. Thursday was post-apocalyptic. I kid you not. It looked like a science fiction movie. It looked like post-nuclear Holocaust kind of things. The orange glow, the fact that it was darker, it was cooler. It was supposed to be close to 80 degrees. It was about 68. And the pervasiveness and the pungent smell of the smoke. And the smoke Thursday didn't smell just like a campfire. It had a much more chemical, industrial scent to it. It still smelled a bit like a campfire, but not the same. It almost smelled like burning plastic. Wednesday just smelled like a campfire. I don't want to say it was pleasant, but it was kind of pleasant. It just didn't feel as dangerous. It just didn't appear as dangerous. Thursday was everything that Wednesday wasn't. That's been perfectly clear since, but those fires are still burning. All it is going to take is a change in the wind direction. All it's going to take is a change in the wind direction. I think my cat is up here somewhere. I heard him yelling before. He's not happy. He's very lonely. 7:02 Eastern Time here on the Kennedy Effect Live for June 11th, 2023. I have one more topic I want to get to. If we don't get any additional comments or questions, we'll be out of here probably at the bottom of the hour. Wherever you are on Facebook, That Other Side of Information is our home group page. When the show is not on, our page keeps going. Please check us out. Become a member of our group and check out the articles that I post, the conversations that we're having, the debates that we're having, the way we talk to each other. Also on Facebook Messenger, there is a Kennedy Effect Annex chat group. You are welcome to be part of that as well. Hot101.net, our name is our web address. Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and the TuneIn Radio app. You can also tell Alexa to play hop101.net. And the TCP Media Group. Check them out on Facebook, too. Extremely important news items and things that they follow, from the fun to the very serious. High school sports and minor league sports, all the way through very serious political issues that face the Lancaster area and the Commonwealth and the country as a whole. And we welcome our new sponsor. No script, no nothing. Let me just tell you about the Pay Give app. You can pay for things through the Pay Give app and donate a portion of that to your favorite charity or even your favorite political candidate. You can buy gift cards and pay for things, and a percentage of that will go to where you designate. Could be the American Cancer Society, could be the Red Cross, or it could be a political candidate that you believe in your area. We can't all write $25, $50, $100, $500,000 checks, but we could give $1 a day. This is a way to do it, or even 25 cents a day. And no one knows how to stretch money like a political candidate, especially a local one, especially a local Democratic one who doesn't have any money. Let's just be blunt. Republicans have a bit more money. But you can support any candidate you wish. Could be Democratic, could be Republican, Green, Working Families, DSA, anything like that. Or, like I said, the American Cancer Society, the Heart Association, the Wounded Warriors Project. There's so many different places that you can donate part of your purchase. So check out the Pay Give app, paygive.com. Apple App Store, just search for Pay Give. Google Play Store, search for Pay Give. You have to pay for things anyway. You might as well give while you do it. 7:04 Eastern Time. Oh, paygive.org. Did I say .com, George? I probably did. I probably said .com. You don't have to tell me in the chat. Turn the microphone on. It's only two of us here anyway. Yes, you can. It's paygive.org. Forgive me.
Yes.
Go to the app stores.
Okay.
Go to the app stores. That's the easier way to do it. Go to the app stores. Find the app.
I put it into the chat in Facebook. And
I copied it over to the other place too. Yeah, so It's on my timeline. It's in the group timeline. You can find it. Go to the app store of your need or choice. The Apple App Store, Google Play Store, paygive.org, the Paygive app. You have to pay for things. Might as well give while you do it. 7:06, I think, 7:05 Eastern Time. No more comments or calls. We'll take you to the bottom of the hour. There's one last thing that I wanted to talk about. We had, I don't hide a lot of myself on this program. There are personal things that I do not get into and that I will never get into. Because to be quite blunt, they're none of your business and you probably don't care anyway. But something happened this week that I do want to talk about because it speaks to kind of the best of us and the worst of us. So, as I have mentioned quite a few times before, Kristen and I adopted a dog. And oh, by the way, we didn't buy one from a breeder, we adopted. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Please don't ever buy. And I don't care if that puts breeders out of business. I could care less. There are literally millions of pets, of furry family members, potential furry family members in this country needing homes. Why you would go to somebody creating more of them and then pay for it on top of it is beyond me. The unsheltered pet problem in this country is a human creation. Why we would make it worse is literally beyond my comprehension. If you want a beagle, go adopt a beagle. Want a German Shepherd, go adopt one. There are purebreds, thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of them across this country that are abandoned, unsheltered, and still need homes. You don't need to go pay some damn breeder. That said, Kristen and I adopted a dog. She is a mix of a beagle and a foxhound, and her name is Daisy. Daisy came from a kill shelter in Alabama. All you need to do is look at the numbers and you know that the purest and most unconditional of souls, like dogs and cats, are just throwaway, especially in the South. So many of the dogs that are adopted in the West, Northern, and Eastern states come from the South because they're just throwaways down there. The conditions of some of these strays in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. And why? Because these red governments don't want to pay to take care of them, so they just kill them. Well, Daisy managed to get out of a kill shelter. She was brought to New Jersey. Kristen found her online. We went to visit her. We brought her home, and she's been here. She's about a year old now, a little over. Thursday, she was struck by a car. She has suffered a broken leg, a clean break. Thank goodness. If the break had been worse, she may have lost her leg that night. But she is doing remarkably well. She has figured out how to walk with her cast, how to do her business with her cast. She's still eating, drinking. She's happy. Her tail's going. She gives plenty of kisses. She is in some pain, which is being managed. But this was a big deal to our family. The newest member of our family was almost killed, and killed very callously. Because when she was struck, the person that hit her slowed down, took a peek out the rearview mirror, and drove away. That person didn't even have the decency to get out and see if she was alive, dead, or even try to fully comprehend what he or she did. Just drove off. And so this personal family story has informed me about kind of the best and worst of who we are as humans, as a society. I don't think it's anything that I didn't already know, but it sure as hell has been reinforced. So what have I learned? I learned that the person that hit Daisy is about as cold and callous a person as you'll find. I pray to God they're not married or have children or have pets of their own. Because someone that could simply drive into her, damn near kill her, and then just drive off as if they had run over a pothole is no one I ever want to come across, except that I kind of do want to come across them. So I can say all of this to their face, very forcefully, might I add. From that point of view, the worst of us was displayed. That a living, sentient, caring, unconditionally loving soul was damn near killed, and it wasn't even worth putting the car in park. The worst of who we are. But I have also discovered a lot about the best of who we are. Starting with my in-laws, who have completely turned their house into a triage center and recovery center, to the vets in Sunbury, who have a 24-hour, 7-day a week emergency medical center for when things like this happen. We could not have come across a better, nicer, more caring staff who took care of Daisy and treated her as if she were their own, and have called to check on her even after she's been back home. And of course, the best of all of it, Kristen, who has beat herself up unnecessarily, taken all of this upon herself, and has shown a strength and a caring that is unfortunately, all too rare. And I've also learned a lot about Daisy. There are times that I particularly thought that Daisy couldn't give a crap whether I was around, alive, dead, or anything else. She's Kristen's dog. Much more so than mine. I mean, I don't like to put it in those words that we own her. She is family. We have given her a home. I've often said to you that I think to solve the problems of animal abuse in this country is to change their legal status. Daisy, according to the law, is our property. Daisy is not anybody's property. She is a living, caring, sentient soul. It would seem to me, if you're really pro-life, that we would like to see these souls have a different designation. That designation being somewhere, I think, to be legally pragmatic and realistic, would be something along the lines of children. What we do with children. Children cannot make their own legal decisions. They cannot represent themselves in court. They cannot, they have to have representation. They do have rights, but their parents, have more. I think until we do that with domesticated animals, the horrible, horrible stories and the mass amounts of abuse and neglect that we see in this country will only continue. So I don't like to think of Daisy as my property. She is family. And not that I ever thought anything different. Not that I ever even considered that Kristen would do anything different. But Kristen has sure as hell treated her like family. She was every bit as upset about this as if it had been any human child. Questioning her own parenting skills, questioning herself, taking on all the guilt and all the responsibility, and she has taken upon herself pretty much all the responsibility of recovery. And she has shown herself to be the extraordinary person that I already knew she was. Someone I am not deserving of, but extremely lucky to have in my life, but not deserving by any means. And I learned a lot about Daisy. As I mentioned, I wasn't even sure that dog gave a crap whether I was home or at work or whatever I was doing. But when I went to her parents' Friday night and got to see Daisy for the first time, she cried with happiness to see me. She pounded her tail. She showered me with kisses, even while on pain meds. And in this very rare, very unfortunate circumstance, we bonded. And she is my dog now. And I think I'm her dad now. Because she was quite happy to see me. And like I said, other times she just couldn't really care. She's just very much Kristen's dog. But I learned a lot about her. I also learned that she's extremely strong. And she's goofy and funny and stubborn. Because the vet was very clear. You have to keep her off this leg. And when she needs to do her business, you're going to have to hold her up and take the weight off it. Well, Daisy's kind of walking around and trying to run on either 3 legs or with this perfectly stiff cast. And she's already, from what the vet told us was going to happen or how she was going to react, she's already miles ahead of where she should be. And that's a good thing. So I'm happy about that. But this has definitely shown us both the best and the worst of humanity. All the people who have taken care of her, not just in my family, but the professionals. And the professionals that are going to continue to take care of her because she's scheduled for surgery tomorrow to fix her leg. We're not 100% sure she's going to need it. She's going to be reevaluated by the surgeon. So there's a chance that she might not need it. She certainly isn't going to lose the leg, so far as we're aware, unless something goes horribly wrong that we're not seeing. But it doesn't appear that she's going to lose the leg. But it really has informed me, if I needed to be reminded about the best and worst in people. The worst, the person that damn near killed her and never gave a flying you-know-what. Didn't give a second thought to pull it, just driving on, as if they had run over a stick or a pothole. And the best, the veterinarians, the nurses, the staff, my in-laws, and my much, much, much better half. I've actually learned something about Guy, my cat. Guy is, I think, between 16 and 17 years old now. And I had always kind of thought that he didn't really care too much for Daisy. He's beaten Daisy up a couple of times. He doesn't have his claws, but he whacks at her a couple of times when she's being a little too crazy or gets a little too much in his space. He has missed her terribly. He lays where the crate usually is and kind of whines. And he misses her. And he's lonely. I've learned about him. I've never wanted to proselytize on this program, Bob Barker style, at the end of The Price is Right. Please have your pet spayed or neutered, but please have your pet spayed or neutered. There's no reason why millions, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of these beautiful, pure souls should be living in misery, in crates and cages and kennels and shelters across this country. when we have other people going out and spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on a designer dog, when there are millions of them just desperate to be part of a family. And cats, too. And yes, cats can be very aloof and very stubborn and very, you're just the person that puts the food in the bowl and to hell with you. But they want families, too. So I've actually learned quite a bit throughout this ordeal, and it has been an ordeal. I've also learned about how tremendously expensive veterinary care can be. And for all the railing against human health insurance that I've done, I'm not about to buy pet insurance because eventually it'll cost us more. And they'll find ways to deny care just the way United Healthcare does to people. So I'm not going to buy it. But how fabulously expensive veterinary care can be. But the pure dedication of the people that provide it make it very worthwhile. So I think Daisy will be fine. She may develop arthritis in that leg a little earlier than she might throughout the rest of her body as she grows older. She might even have a limp. But I can already tell that she's going to be fine. Because she wants to already go out and run and chase birds. And there's a farm that borders the back of Kristen's parents' house. She wanted to chase the cows and stares at them and wants to go out and hang out with them. So her spirit is fine. And it's amazing during these weird things, these very unfortunate things that can happen, about how much we can learn about ourselves, about humanity, and about the people in our families. So Daisy is family. If there was ever any question that she wasn't, and I don't think there was any question, I just never thought I mattered much to her. I now know that I do. And that's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And she matters a hell of a lot to me. More than I thought. It's a shame that it took the possibility of losing her to make me realize how important she had become in our home in a relatively short time. And it's very interesting to see how important she's become to our cat. Because I never thought he gave two craps about her either. But he is. He does. He misses her a great deal. Those are the big things that I wanted to cover this program. I see no phone calls. I don't see any additional comments. We will wrap up here at 7:30 at the bottom of the hour. There is a text that I got from France. You've heard France on the program before. A quote from someone. I don't know who it's from. The longer I live among humans, the more I like animals. I have heard that quote before. I just don't remember who said it, to be honest. I'm sure he'll tell me sometime before, but it's a great quote and it's true. I myself I've said to George, and George and I have been friends for decades now, but I've said to him repeatedly that there's a hell of a lot more animals in this world that I like. A hell of a lot more animals than I like than people. Because animals are genuine. If they don't like you, they'll tell you. If they like you, they'll show you. If they're not sure, they'll show you. And then eventually they'll make up their minds that they either do or they don't. But they're never fake. Animals are never fake. They don't lie. They don't hide. They're excellent judges of character. In fact, in many ways, they're better than we are. The animals that take the abuse that they take, fighting dogs and farm dogs, and who are nothing other than tools to people, and yet still have an affection for the people who abuse them. These are the purest and the kindest of souls. And the very least we could do is empty the shelters. I'm very glad to see. I was very worried. I know that shelters were empty during COVID. People all over the country were adopting animals while they were locked up at home. And what a great time. to do it. That shelters all over the country were showing how empty they were. And some of them quite literally empty. They had none. They had no strays or abandons in their facilities. And I was desperately worried that there was going to be a flood back into these shelters once the worst of the pandemic had passed. Some of that did happen, partly because of inflation, and others because people didn't really understand what they were getting themselves into. Or it's very easy to give a dog a home when you work from home all the time. When you have to go back to the office, then it can get a little tougher. So some of that did occur, but there doesn't appear, unless I miss something, and I'm happy to have somebody educate me, but I didn't see the mass return of animals into the shelters after post-COVID, or post the worst of COVID. There's still about 1,000 people a week dying of COVID, by the way. After the worst of it, we didn't see this mass influx back into the shelters that I feared would come. And that's a good thing. These are loving, pure, sentient, self-aware souls. They feel pain, they feel happiness, they feel joy. They give love and they feel it. And they deserve better than what our society has given them. So if you have a furry family member, hold them tight. Be careful, because there's a hell of a lot of callous people out there who would run them over like they ran over an empty bottle or can in the road. Hold them close and treat them like family, because they are family. Only about 3 minutes left. We're going to wrap it up here at the bottom of the hour. A shorter program than normal, but it's also been very quiet. 4 years of doing this show, I know that summers can be a bit more quiet. That's why it's not so much of a big deal to take so many weeks off during the summer. It's a gorgeous day here in the valley. It's warm. It's clear. I should really have taken my bike out and tried to force myself to ride my bike, and I missed it again. I hope I am smarter next weekend. But that's Patricia mentions Trump never had a dog, just wives. Yeah, well, he kind of treated them the same as some abandoned and abused animals, didn't he? But yeah, thank you for being here, Patricia. 267-227-9189. You guys got about 2 minutes left. George, is there anything that you would like to add or that you think the folks need to know about before we head out? We will work on the Google Voice in the next 2 weeks. Try and get that working. We might even go back to Zoom and push it through Well, that's all technical crap that you guys don't want to hear about, but we will make every effort to have the phone lines working properly by the time that we return to you on the 25th. There's also a chance that George will actually be down here and do a show with me live here together in the studio, the way we had always hoped. But is there anything that you wanted to put out into the ether, add to the audience, add to the show before we say good night, sir?
No, just want to thank Bob Kosh, for coming on, and our new sponsor, PayGive. That's
our new and only.
Yeah, our new. Hopefully not our only, but I mean.
Well, no. Okay. So technically today it's our only. Yeah, but I do hope. Okay. And George has mentioned this before too, folks, that hopefully this is the icebreaker. That this is the first step to us as a program family, having this be the job, the career, that, we go change from a couple minutes here on a Sunday to maybe a few hours a day on weekdays. That this is the first of what we hope will be many sponsors, and that we can expand this program and bring you a better and better and better product each time that we have a chance to meet. Is there anything else that you wanted to throw out?
No, sir. Not today.
Well, then I will say good night on behalf of everyone. Wherever you are on the Facebook universe, thank you very much for allowing our program to be part of your pages, your groups, your timelines, your private groups, your public groups, wherever you have allowed us to say, to be placed in, wherever you have shared us. We thank you very, very, very much. We couldn't do it without you. Please remember to stay tuned to hot101.net. You're going to have a little chance to grab some dinner, maybe make some popcorn, get yourself comfortable. The Villain's View with Sergeant Mac comes your way at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, and I have no bloody idea what time it is in Australia when he starts. I think we did figure it out once. It was like 17 hours or something like that, but I can't do that math in my head right now. But the Villain's View comes your way. There's going to be a little break in between. There's going to be a little break in between, but please stay tuned. Sergeant Mac comes your way. Now, I missed a very important comment somewhere along the way. Oh, Randall mentions. Oh, no way. Why did you wait this long to give me this kind of comment? I can't wait. I can't call and talk with you this week. The smoke really has hit my COPD lungs throughout the past week, and my O2 readings went down to 91%. Jeez. Now, every time Randall wraps up a phone call, I say to him, take care of yourself. Well, guess what? Take care of yourself. We have a good number of listeners, but we can't afford to lose any. And we're not going to lose it because of COPD and because of smoke in the air. For goodness sake, take care of yourself. If you have to, it's going to sound crazy, and it ain't cheap, because I used to be in the industry briefly for about a year and a half. No, about a year and a quarter. I would encourage you, sir, to go to some online vendor, buy a gift card through PayGive, go to that online vendor, because you can use Amazon. You can buy Amazon gift cards through PayGive, and look for a portable oxygen machine. They're not cheap, but they work very, very well. They're always there in a pinch if you need it. You know, I don't think Randall's in the kind of shape where he has to wear it and carry it around with him, but you can have it in the house when you're feeling a little. Switch it, plug it in, switch it on. It's a portable oxygen concentrator. It sucks in the air and quite literally concentrates the oxygen, and you can use it to help get past the bad spells. I would highly recommend it to you. They are not inexpensive. They're not. I've almost thought about buying them, but they're not cheap. But if you can afford it, I would strongly encourage you to grab one, just to have. Doesn't mean that you have to use it 24/7. I don't think it's that bad when the air clears out. I know Randall has not had a problem, but you can always have it there with you. It's a nice little security blanket, if you will. It's like having defibrillators in schools. You don't ever want to have to use it, but it's awful nice to know that it's there. So, Randall, you take care of yourself. Be well. Stay out of trouble, of course. I always throw that funny thing in there, but be well. Please take care of yourself. We care about you, and we want to know that you're okay. So you are excused from your phone call for this week. We perfectly understand, but please take care of yourself. Drop me a messenger message somewhere. Just type out a little something. Let me know how you're doing sometime over these next 2 weeks. Now, we will not be with you again next week. I know it's been a very choppy schedule. It is Father's Day next week. Please be appropriate for Father's Day. Whatever you did for Mother's Day, do it for Father's Day. Fathers are just as important. And if your father's not with you anymore, as mine is not, whatever that important sort of elder male figure is in your life, that father-like figure, could have been a godfather, grandfather, an uncle, maybe even an older cousin. I'm the youngest of 17 cousins, and I'm 54. My oldest is quite a bit older. Whatever that older male figure might be, that father-like figure in your life, if they are still with you, then make sure you make some time. What happened to Daisy this week makes me realize that nothing's guaranteed. And it sounds very, very almost cliche that, you know, anything could happen to us and we won't be here and all that. But it's the truth. It really is the truth. Just as easily as she got hit, I could walk out and get hit by something. It happens. Hopefully the person that hits me won't be as callous as the one that hit her, but that's a different topic for a different day, I guess. Well, we covered that, didn't we? But so we will not be with you next week. We will return on the 25th. I have no guest lined up currently. Surprise, surprise. But we will be back with you on the 25th. So let me say, for our new friends and sponsors at paygive.org, go to your app store of choice. If it's the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, search for PayGive, PAYGIV. You'll find it there. You have to pay for things. You might as well give along the way. Paygive.org. Go to your app store and search for PayGive. Download it and become a part of it. Give to the things that are important to you while you pay for the things that you need. It's that simple. Our first, and what we hope are becomes quite a list of sponsors, so that this show becomes a bigger deal, we hope. Or maybe I should say a big deal, because we're not a big deal. If you say bigger, it kind of assumes that you are. Semantics. Deep semantic argument. That said, that about does it for us. For everyone at the TCP Media Group, Whitney, Taekwon, Andrew, I'm forgetting some, Marquise. How can I forget anybody? That was terrible of me. For everyone at the TCP Media Group, for everyone there, for everyone at hot101.net, DJ Lex, DJ Earl, all the roster of DJs. And again, you might think that the music isn't your taste, and I'm going to be blunt with you, some of the music isn't my taste, but the skill and the artistry with which they mix it together is truly something to behold. Hot 101 is never not on the air. It is there 24/7. Check it out. Hot101.net, Apple App Store, Google Play Store, TuneIn Radio app. Tell Alexa to play Hot101.net for everyone at Hot101.net. For George and for Lynn, and of course for April Riddick, for Bob Kosh, for our new friends and sponsors at paygive.org, and of course for Guy, Daisy, and Kristen. I am Jeff Kennedy. We've done about all the damage we can do for 1 week. Please, until June 25th, honor the fathers on Father's Day, and please take care of yourselves and each other. It's an honor to speak to you each week. We will return on June 25th. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the 25th when the Kennedy Effect returns live. Have a wonderful Father's Day. Enjoy the summer weather if it's good where you are. Take care. We will see you in 2 weeks.